Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video we have to talk about Mageblood. It's now broken the 300 exalt mark, and this needs to be discussed. So in this video we're going to be talking about manipulation, whether or not this belt is actually worth 300x, and of course why I decided to pick it up a few days ago and I am using it, and also versus Headhunter. Having used both of the belts now, I got some pretty good insights for you guys, and I will give you the inside scoop. Okay, so let's start off first with the manipulation, and I'll give you guys a bit of a backstory on how I acquired my belt and some fishy business that I ran into. Okay, so a few days ago, I realized that, hey, I wanted to get a Mageblood after watching MB Extreme's video about how he was putting on flasks, and I saw the time he put on the Quicksilver flask and he was moving around real quick. I knew I had to get one. This belt is great for mobility, and it really does help round out some of the harder to difficult, like, kind of the nitty gritty parts of your character, like resistances and stuff like that. Anyway, I knew I had to get one, so I decided I would start grinding up a storm and acquire a belt of my own. At the time I was grinding, belts were 220 exalts. You know, I had my Headhunter, I was willing to cash that in, I had some other exalts, and I was ready to go. So I was, cruising around looking for the market and seeing how much these things were. 220 exalts, no problem. However, I had the currency available to me to purchase the belt, but when I went to go buy them, no one was selling them. And it was definitely pretty unfortunate. Now, okay, it's not too unusual for people to be away and, all that stuff like that. Okay, so I decided to PM a few more people and, offer them the going rate. No one was responding. No one who was selling one at all. And the fishy thing here is that a lot of the people I was PMing, I remember their account name, they're still here. The same people I was PMing, 3 or 4 days ago now for my Mageblood still have them. But the story gets even weirder. So of course I was PMing people back then for 220 exalts, couldn't get one, unfortunate, and the same people still have them now, and they've got them listed for 300 plus exalts. Okay, so anyway, fortunately enough for me, someone in our guild, Jesse, dropped a Mageblood, just happened to, matter of fact, just dropped one in Dell. Fantastic. I didn't have all the currency at that minute, so he gave me a quick loan. I paid him back the next day, but we settled on 220 exalts for the Mageblood belt. I was thrilled. Great. No worries. Awesome. So I slapped on that belt, for better or for worse. I had sold my Headhunter. I sold all my currency and all sorts of stuff like that to get the belt. Anyway, I slapped it on, and lo and behold, I go and check the price to make sure there was no funny business going on, and I wanted to make sure, and it was literally just minutes after I had bought the belt off of Jesse, and all the people who had ignored me and not responded to me, well, they decided to put up the price of all their Magebloods by 50 exalts, just randomly, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so let's dive into that. Why would they have decided right after I bought one off my friend to put up their belts for 50 exalts after ignoring me? Well, it could have been two things. Okay, so maybe they all watched the MB Extreme video like I did, and they were like, whoa, this thing's way more expensive, it should be way more than that. And they all put the price up at the same time. Or, they were checking out the old Grimro, maybe, and they decided, well, that's another content creator there putting that belt on. That's Path of Math, that's Grimro, that's MB Extreme, it's time for a price raise. Anyway, many days later, here we are, same people, same belt, higher price. So I think there's definitely some funny business going on with the Mageblood. I think it's being heavily price fixed by a group of people, and I don't think any of these people are planning on selling until it gets to some sort of a critical mass, and then they'll all just sell it off and bank all that extra money that they've rode up to the top. It's basically like Bitcoins at this point. It's kind of crazy. It just keeps going up. Okay, so what is the cause of this? Why is this happening? Well, in normal markets where there's, supply and demand, when there's massive demand for an item. You know, people can like farm for the supply. They can kind of meet supply, and you know, it's like equilibrium. You know, you can do that with scarabs. You can even do that with Headhunter. You know, if Headhunter keeps going up, people are further and further incentivized to, you know, use to go farm, you know, magic find. You can, you know, like they can go and you know, do the nurse farm, which people are doing right now. They can farm the doctor. You know, people can open stack decks, all sorts of stuff like that. And, you know, you can acquire the belt, and you know, the price will come back down, or it will like equalize, supply will meet demand, and there you go. Which is why Headhunter is, you know, a reasonable price. It's kind of like, it's pretty high for what Headhunter normally is. But it is, you know, it's not like breaking the stratosphere like Mageblood is. However, Mageblood has no deterministic way to farm it, and as such, supply can never meet demand. You know, demand is like obviously sky high, and there's just no supply available. There's no way to acquire this belt outside of just random chance of dropping it. So like magic find, you know, you can do rarity farming, I guess, but this thing is as rare as a Mirror of Calandra. Or you can try your luck with Gwenin. That's probably the best possible way to obtain it. Gwenin, you know, gambling on heavy belts. I guess Ancient Orbs are also an option, but, you know, good luck with that. That's definitely going to be a moonshot, to say the least. So there's no way to get more Magebloods. They're just not available. You know, it's definitely a very, very rare item. And as such, it wouldn't be hard for a group of very, very dedicated individuals with a lot of currency to just buy all of them that enter the market and just stash them away. And then all of them, if they all collude, can just raise the price all at the same time and decide whatever they want the price to be. And if you want the belt, unlucky, you have to pay it. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's going on. Items don't just go up 20 exalts a day, unless the people behind the scenes are trying to do that. And it's definitely, in my opinion, an item that is going to continue to go up until these people decide to offload their belts. So it's definitely unfortunate. If you want to get the belt, it sucks. Okay, well, we're pretty sure that this is being price fixed. There's no immediate way to solve this. You know, you've got some ways to maybe get it, but it's a moonshot. Let's talk about whether or not you want to actually go for this belt, because this thing is now 3 times the price almost of a Headhunter. Okay, so first of all, let's look at it. Is Mageblood worth 310 exalts or whatever it is right now? Absolutely not. There's no content in the game, including the Uber content, that is not accomplishable without a Mageblood. So you can just basically, you can rock a really, really badass Stygian, you know, like an Elder or a Hunter Stygian, Insane Life, you know, Flask stuff, you know, really get it going. No problem, you'll roll the whole game. You can rock a Headhunter and a full, you know, mirror bow, you know, juiced out character to the nines, max gear everywhere, and like, you know, just really, really juice it up. You know, mirrors, you know, like to spare for the rest of the gear, and you still wouldn't be as much as a Headhunter, you know, as much as a Mageblood. You know, you can get an absolutely cracked out character for the price of 1 Mageblood belt. So absolutely, it is not worth 310 exalts. It shouldn't be that much. It doesn't give you anywhere near that amount of value. You'll never pay it back. It's just sort of a prestige item, I suppose. You know, if you want to, like, you know, play with it, have fun with it, you know, try it out, and, you know, you got a bit of FOMO, you know, overall, you know, that's the only reason you would ever buy it. Okay, so is this going to be the same as it always is in the future? Like, is Mageblood going to be a 310 exalt belt forever? Are we going to have these price fixes every league? My guess would be no. Next league, you know, if you want to play with a belt, you know, and you can't afford it this league, chances are it's going to be about the price of Headhunter next league. And the reason for that is that it's almost certain that someone's already teeing up that divination card. I would be seriously surprised if there wasn't a Mageblood card, divination card next league called the Potion Seller or the Potion Merchant, whatever that meme was on Reddit. You know, it's almost like it's going to be a fact that this will be a deterministically obtained item in the next patch. If it's not, I'd be shocked, but I imagine it's probably going to be a farmable div card similar to Headhunter, and, you know, it'll probably be the same price as Headhunter. There'll be plenty of them in the market because they'll come from stacked decks, from gambling, from farming, from MFing, you know, all sorts of stuff like that, and you'll get your chance to play with the Mageblood probably next league. No problems, no questions asked. Okay, so this league. What if you want it this league? We've already established that it's not worth the money. Why am I using a Mageblood? Why did I shell out 220 exalts for this belt? Well, it is good in some situations. And I'm going to make a direct comparison to Headhunter here to kind of give you the full picture. I've played extensively with both now. I've had, you know, Headhunter for like 2 weeks, something like that. And then I've played with Mageblood for 3 or 4 days now. The belts are quite different. They're actually completely different. You can't compare them. They are very, very different very, very good at different things. Let's start with Headhunter. So Headhunter is going to still be the best belt for any sort of beyond juicing or big density juicing, where you want to, kind of get through the whole map real quick. So like beyond Delhi, this sort of content, Headhunter is still king. Absolutely, it's going to be a blast. You should actually be using a Headhunter over a Mageblood for this sort of content, especially if you're an elemental or physical damage build, and you will scale really, really hard off Headhunter. It's not even close. Mageblood can't hold a candle. Now, when comparing that to obviously what we have here, where is Mageblood useful? Well, it's pretty much better than Headhunter in every other situation and scenario. So for bossing, for Uber Blight, for Uber Simulacrum, for Uber Breachstones, all this content is way better. Alchemgrade mapping, Mageblood's better. Overall character building, Mageblood's better. There's pretty much pretty much all content that doesn't involve Beyond, and in some cases Delirium, Mageblood's gonna smash Headhunter completely, unconditionally smash it pretty much. Deep Delving, Mageblood's better there as well. It's just a really, really insane belt, and we're gonna go over the reason for that now. But it's fair to say that Headhunter does have its place, and it is still a very, very good belt. And for the price tag, you should probably go for Headhunter because it's, 1/3 of the price almost of Mageblood. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Mageblood and why I bought it and why it's so good and, why you might want to go after this ultimate chase unique, which is being price fixed, and there's a lot of gross stuff going on around it. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so the primary reason I flipped that switch outside of watching the NBA Extreme video and seeing the Quicksilver stuff is resistances. So my character was hitting a wall. A lot of the gear is like Awakener Robbed, so you can get 2 really good Awakener Rob mods, and then you need to get a resistance. And that resistance, and a lot of those Awakener Orbs modifiers, which I really want, are all suffixes. So I was kind of in a position where I could get, a ton of really, really good gear, and then, I'd have no resistances, and I'd have to lose all of my jewels to get that, or I'd have to, spend, insane currency on getting resistances on all of my pieces, as well as the really, really good suffixes. To kind of give you an example, my quiver, Frenzy Charge, Projectile Speed, both suffixes. My helmet here, both suffixes. The physical damage and reservation. My boots, these are both suffixes, and I got really bad lightning res, and I was pretty mad. And I wanted to replace my ring, which has big res on there as well, so I needed some way to get a pile of resistances, and Mageblood does help you achieve that. Absolutely, it's very, very good at that. In addition to that, if you want to be doing Wave 30 Simulacrum and you want to do it comfortably, you either need to be Chaos Inoculation, or ideally you want to be Chaos Resistance capped. At least 75%. That is going to be very, very good. I don't have that yet because I've been broke because I bought the belt. But overall, that is kind of one of the goals you need to be able to farm Simulacrum comfortably. Either that, or you need to play ZHP and just one-shot everything and be a mechanical god. Okay, and obviously, guess what? Chaos Res, another suffix. So it's very, very difficult to get really, really good resistances on all your pieces if you're playing this build, and that is strike number 1, which made me want to get the Mageblood. Strike number 2 is that I wanted mobility. This character doesn't have a whole lot of inbuilt mobility. It's not a raider, so it doesn't have Perma Onslaught. It doesn't get any MS from Frenzy Charges. It's missing some movement speed. It has Challenger Charges, but that's pretty much all it has. It's really, really good with these boots. With Tailwind Elusive. However, without Headhunter stacks, this is not reliable. You're not going to be getting Elusive without Headhunter stacks. No, no, no. And you're definitely not going to be maintaining 100% uptime on Tailwind either, unfortunately, without Headhunter stacks. So, if you're juicing, you're going to have both of them for a good amount of time. Without it, you're not going to be having them. So in Simulacrum, you're in trouble. In bosses, you're in trouble. In invitations, you're in trouble. So I needed movement speed, I needed mobility, and Mageblood was the answer. Now, I've been memed on for taking Resolute Technique with these boots by a certain somebody, but the reason I did that is because obviously after taking Headhunter off, all those problems which I was talking about earlier with maintaining those uptimes on those buffs, without the accuracy and the crit buffs from Headhunter obviously became exacerbated, so I needed to put Resolute Technique back on. I'm going to be swapping these boots out real quick after I can get the currency to make some new ones. Fair to say, though, that Mageblood was solving a lot of big issues. In addition to that, without having to worry about resistances, you can also take advantage of a new suffix, which is incredibly important for endgame content, and as well as Uber Simulacrum, which is wave 30, which is what I really want to farm, and that is ailment avoidance. So ailment avoidance, again, it's a suffix. And you can see this kind of pattern here that you can kind of really free up a lot of the suffixes on your gear, which in a lot of cases are some of the best. So for stuff like attribute stackers, suffixes are really, really important, and getting resistances there sucks. Mageblood completely fixes that, and it really does free up a lot of possibilities on your gear set and on sort of like the bases that you can use. So you don't have to use resistance rings. You can use stuff like chaos res rings if you want, or all sorts of stuff like that. It's just a whole lot of quality of life and a whole lot of flexibility, and it really does allow you a lot of really, really cool things on your gear set. Now, in addition to that, obviously Mageblood is an incredibly defensive item. It's not just freedom of gearing that you're getting, it's not just the mobility, but it is defense and consistent defense that you are getting access to. So if you take a look at this, without the Granite Flask, I have 37k, and with the Granite Flask, I have 73,000 armor. So this is pretty much enough to tank wave 30 Kosis physical hits. You can stand in the full combo of Omni in wave 30, and it's pretty much, GG. As long as you don't have any shock or anything like that on you, it's pretty easy to tank a lot of the physical damage in the game with a Granite, Determination, and Mageblood. It's pretty ridiculous, and I definitely would recommend it if you can get the belt. It's going to make a lot of things really easy, and overall it makes your character a lot more durable, and it's actually a pretty quick fix for a lot of topside trees as well. If you can't get any armor and you're really struggling with Fizz, Mageblood, Granite, Determination, and you're pretty much set. You can tank most of the stuff in the game, which is physical, which is a really big problem in some of the new Uber content. Obviously, in addition to that, you get to leverage the less damage taken from the elemental flasks. So you're going to be really, really tanky, and you're never going to die to any volatiles again or any sort of lightning mirages due to the fact that you have that less damage on you constantly. So one of the cool things about the endgame, the new endgame of PoE, is that it's all defense focused. So in Delve, you can actually tank 6k Delve now with a really tanky character, meaning it's a war of attrition, not so much a war of one-shots and ZHP. Guess what's going to be really, really powerful in that scenario? Mageblood, because it gives you some of the most powerful defenses, and it makes so you're not reliant on keeping your flasks up. You don't have to be a Pathfinder or anything like that. It's completely insane, and it's really, really powerful. Also, obviously similar, you can get really defensive in Simulacrum, you just won't die, and then you can just attrition your way to killing Kosis even if you have low damage, and it's really, really strong that way as well. Obviously there's tons of other stuff that this build is going to be really, really good for. I've got a cast on crit build that I'm planning on using this on. Obviously it's really, really insane for that kind of a build, because you just always have Diamond with double effect up, meaning you're super consistent. Headhunter kind of sucked on that build as well, because it screwed up your attack speed and then messed up your cast on crit triggers. So overall, Mageblood is a really, really good belt. It's really, really insane for all content beyond G-Sing, where Headhunter takes the crown. Okay, let's round it out. Do I regret buying Mageblood for 220 exalts? Absolutely not, and it's not just because it went up in price. This belt is absolutely obscene. However, you don't need it. If you do want a project though, you want to kind of chase something, you want to chase unique, this is the belt. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be this expensive, but it is due to manipulation, and overall, if you do get it, you'll enjoy it. It'll be worth it. You do need to build your character around it. To get the most out of the belt, you need your gear to be tailor-made for Mageblood. So you can't be using resistances and stuff like that on your gear, unless you've got a very specific character, which doesn't use the resistance flask for some reason. So you'll need to build your character around the belt, which is, it's kind of annoying. You kind of slap it on like a Headhunter, but overall, it will be worth it. In my opinion, it's a completely insane belt. Obviously the movement speed is really, really nice. It's actually really huge quality of life, and I would definitely recommend going for it if you want the grind. That's going to be the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and this kind of gives you some insight into Mageblood, whether or not you want to go for it. Kind of opens your eyes to the fact that it's being heavily price fixed, and it will continue probably to go up by these price fixes until it crashes when they all sell it off. Don't know when that'll be. Maybe it'll never be anything. Maybe they'll take it as standard. We'll have to see. But it's pretty much undoubtable that it will continue to go up at this point. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. There'll be plenty more content coming soon. If you liked the video, make sure you like, make sure you sub if you want more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.